Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. So in today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful ruffled short dress. So guys, if this is your first time visiting our channel, thank you for stopping by. Do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and always turn on your notification bell so you can get updates from us whenever we post a new video. And also, if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for stopping by. I actually love the outcome of this dress. So guys, I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this. Let's get straight into the video. The basic requirement needed to make this dress is the bust, the half length, your waist measurement, the shoulder, the hip measurement, the length, and the bust points. So guys, I've just gone ahead to mark my half length, and my half length is 15.5, okay? So I'm just going to mark that line. That will serve as our shoulder line. Then that's going to serve as our waistline. From on the shoulder line, I'm just going to be marking my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 14, divided by 2 is 7, so I just came down by 1 inch, and also I went to mark 2.5 in order to get my shoulder slope. Okay, so guys, the next thing I'll do, I'm just going to be marking my bust point, and for this, the bust point I'm using is 9.5. I've gone ahead to mark 9.5, so you're just going to connect with a straight ruler. Okay, so remember our shoulder line. Yeah, to get our chest line, from the bust point you go up by 1.5, or you're going to be dividing your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. Whatever you have is going to serve as your chest line. So I'm going to be marking my shoulder measurement on the chest line so I can get a straight line for my armhole line. Okay, so guys, the next thing I'll do, I just went ahead to mark my neck width. For this, I'll be using neck width of 3 by 2 inch. Okay, 3 by 2 inch. This is the back bodice. So I'm also going to be dividing my bust measurements by 4, and what I had is 8 and quarter, that is 8.25. You're just going to mark 8.25 and add your seam allowance of 1.5. You can decide to add 1 inch or 2 inch. On the waistline, you're going to be dividing your waist measurement by 4 plus your seam allowance, and you're going to be adding 1.5 as the seam allowance. You're just going to connect like you see me doing, and also be adding 1 inch for the dart. Okay, this dress is going to have a dart, so I just connect like so. So guys, I'm just going to place my curve and get my armhole curve just like you see me doing, and here our back body is ready. So guys, the next thing I went ahead to do, at the center back, I just went up by 1 inch. So I'm just going to connect to my size just to avoid bulginess around my zipper axis. So I'm going to be cutting that out. Okay, also I'm just going to be cutting out my back bodies just like you see me doing. Just watch what I'm doing. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you're just going to cut this, and here this is our back. So I'm just going to place this back on a new pattern paper and secure this with a pin. So guys, after I was done doing that, remember this is an overlap dress, so this actually depends on you. If you want this really covered, you use 6, but if you want your boobs to be exposed a little, you can use 4 inch or 5 inch. Okay, you can use between 4 inch or 4.5. So for this, I'll be making use of 5. So after I was done doing this, it was a little bit opened, exposed for me, so you can make your 6 if you don't want to have the same issue with mine. So you're just going to connect like you see me doing on the shoulder line. You're going to connect from the neck, from the shoulder to the 5-inch extension. Okay, just watch what I'm doing so you can get this. So here is our overlap for the front, and what I'll do next, I'm just going to be cutting out like you see me doing. I'm going to be cutting this out. So this is my front bodice. here is my front body. So we are going to be working on the armhole because we have an exact armhole for both the front and the back. So you know the front needs to be deeper than the back, so you're just going to trim off a little. Okay, just trim off a little. Then as you can see, the front is deeper than the back, so we are good to go. The next thing I went ahead to do, I'm just going to be imputing my dart, and my bust span is 7, that is from one nipple to the other, so divided by 2 is 3.5. I just went ahead to mark 3.5, and also I'm going to connect it to my chest line. Okay, so on the waistline, I'm just going to be marking half of an inch on that line so that I can connect my darts together. So your dart intake is 1 inch, that means half inch on both sides. So you're just going to connect like you see me doing. So this is ready, our back dart is ready. For the front dart, I'm going to mark my 5 inch. So my dart will start after that 5 inch. So I went ahead to mark 3.5, and also I'm going to be measuring my chest line, my bust point. Remember, my bust point is 9.5, so I'm going to be transferring that 9.5 on the front pattern. So I just went ahead to connect that will serve as my bust point. Okay, so I'm just going to mark straight like you see me doing to get my dart. So I'm going to be using 1 inch dart as well, so 0.5 on both sides. So you're just going to connect like you see me doing, just come down from the bust point by 1 inch, then connect the two darts together. So guys, for this we are going to be drafting the skirt pattern, the down part. So you're just going to place your tape from 15.5. Remember, our half length is 15.5, so 15.5, and the full length of this gown is 39. So I went ahead to mark 39, or you can simply subtract 15.5 from 39. Then you're just going to mark what you have. So the upper part is going to serve as my waistline, and also I came down by 8 inch. This is going to be my hip line. Okay, so you're just going to connect. This will serve as my hip line, and this will serve as the full length of my gown. So on the waistline, I'm going to be dividing my waist measurements by 4. Whatever you have, you're going to be adding 1 inch dart and 1.5 seam allowance. Likewise, on the hip line, you're going to dividing your hip by 4. Whatever you have, you add 1.5 as the seam allowance. So guys, I have gone ahead to connect my waist to my hip line, and also to know what to measure at the hem of this gown. So whatever you have on your hip, I had 10.5, so you're going to subtract 2 inch from that. So I'm just going to be marking 8.5 as the measurement for the hem of my gown. So I'm just going to connect from the hip to the hem of this gown. Okay, so on the waist, I'm going to be marking my bust span measurement, which is 3.5, and also the dart leg is going to be 4. So I went ahead to mark 4 inch. So I'm going to be imputing half of an inch on both sides because the dart is going to be 1 inch dart intake. So you're just going to connect like you see me doing. So here is our darts for the front pattern. So this is our front pattern. We'll be using the same pattern to cut or to draft the back. So I went ahead to cut this out, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so for this, we're going to be closing our darts. Can you see? You're just going to be closing your darts because I don't want us to stitch this. You're just going to be closing your dart, and you're going to secure with your safety pin, or you can use a masking tape, whichever one. You can use any of these, masking tape or safety pin. And also I'll repeat the same thing for the front bodies, the upper bodies. Okay, so you're just going to close the darts just like you see me doing. Close the dart and secure with a safety pin or a masking tape. I'll repeat the same thing to the front pattern. just close the dart like you see me doing and secure with a safety pin. So by doing this, we are not going to be stitching our darts. We have already closed our dart on our paper. So guys, I'm just going to be transferring this to my fabric and I will show you what next to do. So guys, I almost forgot to cut this out. So you're just going to be trimming this off. You're going to be cutting this off. This is the back bodies. You're just going to be cutting this off. And also I've gone ahead to transfer to my fabric. I added half inch at the down and also at the shoulder. You're just going to add half of an inch and make sure you have two pieces, okay? Two pieces. Also for the back, you're just going to add half of an inch at the down and also at the top. Then you're going to be adding 1 inch as the zipper allowance, okay? 1 inch as the zipper allowance. For the skirt, this is the back, the zipper, the back skirt. So I went ahead to add 1 inch at the upper part and also 1.5 at the down part because we are going to be having slits at the back. So the zipper allowance is going to be 1 inch. So from the hip line down to the hem of this skirt, you're just going to make it 1.5, okay? So for the upper part, do not forget to add half of an inch, and also for the down part you can add 1 inch for the folding. Likewise, the center front, this is it, add half of an inch at the upper part and also 1 inch for the folding. So this is our ruffle and I have about 10 inch and the width of this is 30 on fold, that is 60, and I have 2 pieces and a half or a quarter. Just have 2 pieces of these, so that means I have a total of 120 and some inch. So guys, this is it. That's going to be our ruffle. And for this sleeve, I have a shortage of this fabric, so I'm just going to be joining on my sleeve. If you don't know how to draft this, there's a video tutorial on our channel on how to draft a sleeve, a bell sleeve, so you can check it out there. Then also I'm going to be joining my ruffle together. I'm just going to join them and fold one edge. Just go ahead and fold one edge, join the piece together, make it one, and fold one side or one of the edge, okay? Likewise, I'm also going to be folding the down part of my skirt, the hem of my skirt. Just go ahead and fold 1 inch. You do the same thing to the back, okay? This is this back for the skirt. You're just going to be folding like so, like you see me doing. Just take to your machine and fold. Also for the upper bodies, I'm going ahead to remove the pins. So guys, the next thing I went ahead to do, I'm just going to be placing the right side of the front and the back together and I'll be joining the shoulder. So you do the same thing to the second side, place the shoulder together and stitch using 0.5 inch. Then also for the sleeve, I'm going to be joining using half of an inch, okay? Just join the center using half of an inch. After I was done stitching, this is what it looks like. Can you see? So I repeated the same thing. You can decide to open this up and iron. Go to your ironing table and press this, okay? So the next thing I'll do, I'm going to be using my bias to turn this, to turn the neck and also the front overlap. So you're just going to turn it like so. You do the same thing for the second side, okay? You use your bias to turn it. After I was done turning with my bias, this is what it looks like, okay? You're going to be measuring your 5 inch for the overlap. Remember, we use 5 inch. Just make a mark there. Likewise, you do the same thing to the other side. Mark 5 inch for our front overlap, okay? So I'm going to be placing these two together. Just place them on each other and you're going to be securing with a pin. The two places that I just marked, you're just going to place them together like you see me doing. Then you're going to be securing with your safety pin, okay? So this is what you should have. secure with your safety pin, and go to your sewing machine and stitch this together. So guys, the next thing I'm just going to be doing, I've gone ahead to fold the under. Okay, I've fold the hem of this skirt. Can you see both the front and the back? So I'm going to be joining the upper part together with the down part. So you're just going to place them right side facing each other. Then you take it to your sewing machine and stitch using 1/2 inch. Then also for the back, I'll join the upper part and the down part together. Just turn them right side facing each other. Then you stitch using 1/2 inch. You do the same thing to the other side as well. Stitch using 1/2 inch. After I was done doing that, guys, this is what it looks like. I've joined this together. Can you see? I've joined the back and also the front together. So what I'll do next, I'm going to be placing my right side for both the back and the front together. Then I'll stitch using 1/2 inch on the right side, because we want to attain neat finishing. So for my ruffles, I've gone ahead to fold the hem. Okay, I've gone ahead to fold one side, and I used my needle and thread to make gathers. Okay, so for this sleeve, I've also gone ahead to stitch or join them together. So I'm just going to be using this band. Is about 3 inch on fold. So you're just going to be turning it. So after I was done stitching, can you see, I went ahead to iron this, give it a good press. Okay, so I'm going to stitch like you see me doing 1/2 inch on the right side. We are going to repeat the same thing we did for the upper main dress. So I'm going to be imputing my body measurement. Okay, remember we actually left 1.5 inch as the seam allowance, so I'm just going to be marking 1.5 on both sides. Then you're going to confirm if your measurement is accurate, that is your bust measurement divided by 2. So mine is okay. You repeat the same thing on the waist. Just go ahead and take your waist measurements divided by 2 is actually 26. So just go ahead and mark 26. Then whatever you have, measure it and divide it equally on both sides. So I'm just going to be marking 1.5 also on both sides. So I'm going to confirm if this is okay, and it's 13.5, so that's 13 inch, so that's okay for me. I'm also going to be connecting from the bust to the waistline, just like you see me doing. Sorry, this is not actually obvious or is not too visible. So the next thing I'll do, I'm going to be taking my hip measurement. Remember the hip line that we used is 8, so I'm going to be marking 8 on the two sides like you see me doing. Mark 8 and take your hip measurement. My hip measurements, remember we add 1.5 inch at the seam allowance, so I'm just going to be marking 1.5 on both sides. Okay, just go ahead and mark 1.5, then measure to confirm if your hip measurement is accurate. So I'm just going to be connecting from the waist down to my hip line. Okay, just go ahead and connect like you see me doing. Connect on both sides. So for the down part, the hem of this, if you want it really fitted, you can just go in by 1.5 or 1 inch. So go ahead and mark between 1 inch and 1.5 on both sides, and you're going to be connecting from the hip down to the hem of this gown. So guys, I'll go to my sewing machine and I'll stitch on the lines that I just marked. You're just going to be stitching on the lines that we just marked. After I was done stitching, this is what it looks like. So the next thing I went ahead to do, I went to impute my sleeve measurement. Okay, so this is what you should have. You're just going to impute your upper arm measurements and also the down part. So I went ahead to stitch this, and I have this for the two sleeve. Okay, so right now I'm going to be fixing my sleeve to my dress. Okay, remember you're just going to get the front armhole is quite different from the back armhole, so you're just going to place this very well, and you're going to make sure the right side, place the right side of the sleeve to the right side of your armhole, just like you see me doing. Then I'm just going to be securing with your safety pin. Just go ahead and secure with your safety pin. You are going to do this to this two sleeve. You repeat this to this two sleeve, go ahead and secure with your safety pin so that this can be easy for us. So guys, you go over to your sewing machine and stitch using half of an inch. After I was done stitching, this is what it looks like. I fixed my sleeve to my dress and we are almost through with this. Remember, it has a ruffle, so I'm just going to make a style line. Okay, just make this line just like you see me doing. Just make this line a curved one because we are going to be stitching our ruffle on this line. So the chalk I'm actually using is not visible like I said, but I can actually see this. Just make your own to be visible and you're going to be stitching on that line. So the next thing I want you to do, I'm just going to be measuring what I have. Just go ahead and measure the line that we just marked, and I have about 29 inch. So you're just going to make sure that your ruffle does not exceed 29 or should not be smaller than 29. Okay, so you're just going to place your ruffle on this, and again I'm going to be taking it up above my waistline. I want you to start above the waistline, not on the waistline or below the waistline. So this is actually optional. I'm just going to place it on the lines that I just mark, and ensure you're not going to be stitching this together with the back. You're going to be opening this up since we've not fixed the zip. So you go ahead and stitch on the lines. Then this is what it looks like after I was done stitching. I'm just trying to remove the threads I used in making the ruffle, so just go ahead and pull it out. Okay, so guys, this is it. I've gone ahead to stitch this to my fabric, the lines that I just marked, and this is what it looks like. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be folding the back together because I will be fixing the zip. Okay, so you're just going to mark from the waistline. Just go ahead and mark from 5 inch or 5.5. That is where my zip will be stopping. So just go ahead and mark 5 inch. From that point, you're just going to mark straight 1.5. Then from the edge, from the hem of our gown, just go up by 5 inch like you see me doing. So it's going to, that's where my stitch will stop because it's going to have slits at the back. So I'll go ahead and fix the zip, and this is the final outcome, guys. I actually love how this came out. It's looking so beautiful. So guys, if this is your first time visiting our channel, do not forget to give us a thumbs up, like and share this video, subscribe to our channel, and always turn on your notification bell so you can get update from us whenever a new video is being posted. So guys, this is it. It's looking so beautiful. Until I see you in my next video. Bye.